I'm 82 years old, and I need to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. For 58 years of my life, I believed that being a good provider was the same as being a good father. I believed that sacrifice meant showing up at the office instead of showing up at home. I believed that one day, when I had made it, my family would understand I was wrong about everything. Last Thanksgiving, I sat alone at a table set for one. No phone calls, no visits, no grandchildren running through the halls, just silence. The kind of silence that makes you realize you've become a stranger to the people who share your blood. I have 4 grandchildren. I couldn't tell you their favorite colors. I don't know what grades they're in. I've never helped them with homework. Never taught them to ride a bike, never read them a bedtime story. They don't know me, and that's not their fault. It's mine. Something happened 6 years ago that changed everything. Something that finally woke me up, and what I realized in that moment, what I understood for the first time in my life, is something you need to hear. Because right now, somewhere out there, you're making the same mistake I made. You're telling yourself the same lies I told myself. And if I can stop even one person from ending up like me, then maybe these words mean something. I don't have much time left. The doctors made that clear. But I have enough time to tell you the truth about what happens when you choose career over family, the truth about what happens when you're always too busy, the truth about what happens when you wait too long. So listen carefully, because this is the confession of an old man who got everything he wanted and lost everything that mattered. 6 years ago, I received an invitation in the mail. It was thick, cream-colored envelope, gold lettering. The kind of invitation that costs money, the kind you send to people who matter. My granddaughter Emily was getting married. I held that invitation in my hands, and I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Maybe this was my chance. Maybe this was the moment things would change. Maybe after all these years, my son Michael was finally reaching out. I called him that night. Michael, I got Emily's invitation. I'm so proud of her. I'd love to walk her down. Dad. His voice was cold, flat. You're invited as a guest. That's it. Emily asked me to make that clear. She wanted you to come, but she doesn't know you. Not really. Her stepfather is walking her down the aisle. He earned that. Earned it. Those 2 words hit me harder than any fist ever could. I flew to California for the wedding, sat in the back row, watched a man I'd never met walk my granddaughter down the aisle, watched him cry as he gave her away, watched him dance with her at the reception while everyone smiled and took pictures, and I sat at a table in the corner, alone. Nobody talked to me, not really. A few polite hellos, a couple of awkward handshakes. My own grandchildren looked at me like I was a distant relative they'd heard about but never really knew, because I was. At the reception, I found myself standing near the dessert table when Emily walked by. She was beautiful, 24 years old, radiant, and she looked right through me. "Congratulations," I said. My voice cracked. "Thank you for coming, grandfather." Grandfather, not grandpa, not papa, grandfather, like a title on a form. She smiled politely and walked away. That's when it hit me. I had 4 grandchildren, and not one of them knew the sound of my laugh. Not one of them had ever sat on my lap. Not one of them would cry at my funeral. I was 76 years old, and I realized I wasn't a grandfather. I was a name on a birthday card. A check in the mail, a stranger who happened to share their DNA. I went back to my hotel room that night and sat on the edge of the bed for 3 hours, just sat there, staring at the wall, and I asked myself a question I'd been avoiding for 50 years. What was it all for? Let me tell you about the life I built. I started working at 24, straight out of business school, hungry, ambitious, ready to conquer the world. My wife Linda and I had just gotten married. Michael was on the way, and I told myself something that would shape the next 5 decades. I'll work hard now so we can enjoy life later. Later, that word destroyed everything. At 28, Michael was starting kindergarten, his first day of school. Linda asked me to be there. I can't, I said. Big meeting, but I'll be at the next one. At 32, Michael had his first Little League game. He was so excited. Asked me 3 times if I was coming. I wasn't. Next season, I told him. I promise. At 35, I missed his birthday party. 38, I missed his school play. 41, I wasn't there when he graduated middle school. I was building something, you see, something important, something that would matter. At 45, Linda begged me to take a vacation, a real one. 2 weeks in Europe. The kids were getting older. Time was passing. Next year, I said, when the company's more stable. We never took that trip. At 50, my daughter Sarah stopped asking me to come to her dance recitals. She just stopped asking. I didn't even notice. At 55, Michael left for college. I drove him to the airport. First time we'd been alone together in months, maybe years. The silence in the car was deafening. I didn't know what to say to my own son. At 60, I became CEO, corner office, company car, respect from everyone who worked for me. Linda cried that night, not from joy. You got everything you wanted, she said, and I lost my husband decades ago. I didn't understand what she meant. I do now. At 65, I retired. Finally, all that work, all that sacrifice, all those missed moments, it was supposed to pay off now. This was supposed to be the later I'd been waiting for. But later doesn't come the way you think it will. Michael lived across the country, called maybe twice a year. Sarah was in London. We exchanged Christmas cards. My grandchildren were growing up, and I was meeting them for the first time at ages 6, 8, 11, 14. Too late. They were polite, distant, the way you are with someone you're supposed to know but don't. I had the money, I had the house, I had the reputation, but I didn't have my family. I had waited my whole life for later, and when later finally came, I realized there was no one left to share it with. Let me tell you the biggest lie you're telling yourself right now. I have time. You don't. Nobody does. I told myself I had time for 58 years. I told myself my kids would understand. I told myself there would always be another birthday, another Christmas, another chance. There won't always be more. One day, and you won't see it coming, your children will stop asking you to show up. They'll stop expecting you to be there. They'll build their lives without you because that's what you taught them to do. And by the time you realize what's happened, it will be too late. Here's another lie. Providing for your family is the same as being there for your family. It's not. Money doesn't tuck your kids in at night. A paycheck doesn't cheer at soccer games. A bank account doesn't wipe away tears or celebrate victories or teach lessons about life. I gave my family everything except myself. And you know what they remember? The absence. I had a colleague named Richard, worked harder than anyone I knew, 14-hour days, weekends at the office, missed every recital, every game, every milestone. He died at 63, massive heart attack. At his funeral, his daughter gave the eulogy, and she said something I'll never forget. My father was a successful man. He built companies, made millions, earned respect from everyone who worked with him. But I couldn't tell you his favorite song. I couldn't tell you what made him laugh. I couldn't tell you his dreams or his fears or what he believed in, because he was never there long enough for me to learn. Is that the legacy you want? Is that what you want your children to say about you when you're gone? I used to think success meant achievements, numbers, titles, recognition. I was wrong. Success means being known by the people who love you. It means showing up when it matters. It means being present, actually present, in the moments that make up a life. I achieved everything I set out to achieve, and I would trade it all for one more chance to be the father my children needed. You want to know what keeps me up at night? Not the deals I didn't close, not the promotions I didn't get, not the money I didn't make. It's the small things, the things I can never get back. I never taught Michael how to ride a bike. His mother did that. I was in Tokyo, closing a deal that meant nothing 5 years later, but my son learned to ride a bike without me, and he never forgot that I wasn't there. I never saw Sarah's first dance recital. She was 7 years old, dressed like a snowflake. Linda took pictures. I've seen them 100 times. But I wasn't there. I was in a conference room arguing about quarterly projections that I can't even remember now. I never walked my daughter down the aisle. She eloped, didn't tell anyone until after, and when I asked her why, she said, "I didn't think you'd come anyway, Dad. You never did before." That one still burns. I never held my grandchildren as babies. By the time I met them, they were walking, talking, already forming opinions about the grandfather who was never around. I never took Linda to Paris. We talked about it for 40 years. 40 years of someday and next year, and when things slow down. She died 3 years ago, stroke, quick, painless, they said. We never saw Paris. I missed Michael's high school graduation, had to fly to Germany for a business emergency, sent flowers instead, flowers, like that could replace a father in the audience. I never learned what Sarah wanted to be when she grew up. By the time I thought to ask, she was already grown, already gone, already living a life I knew nothing about. I never apologized to Linda, not really, not the way she deserved. I always thought there would be time, more time, later. There wasn't. The morning she died, I was reading the newspaper. She was making breakfast, and then she was on the floor, and then she was gone. The last thing I said to her was, "Can you grab me more coffee?" Not "I love you," not "thank you for staying," not "I'm sorry for all the years I put work first," just coffee. I think about that every single day. You know what I have now? Money, a big empty house, photo albums full of pictures I'm not in, and a phone that never rings. I have 4 grandchildren. Emma is 16. She wants to be a veterinarian. I learned that from Facebook. James is 14. He plays basketball. I've never seen him play. Sophie is 11. She loves to read. I've never bought her a book. And little Thomas is 8 years old. He doesn't know who I am. At Emily's wedding, he asked his mother, "Who's that old man?" That old man. That's what I am to my own grandson. An old man, a stranger, a ghost of someone who should have been there but never was. After Emily's wedding, I went home and sat in my empty house for 3 days. Just sat, thinking, remembering, regretting. On the 4th day, I made a decision. I was 76 years old. I had maybe 10 years left if I was lucky. And I decided I wasn't going to waste them the way I wasted the first 76. I sold the company, everything, the shares, the properties, the partnerships, all of it. Then I started writing letters, one to Michael, one to Sarah, one to each grandchild. Real letters, handwritten. Pages and pages of everything I should have said decades ago. Apologies, confessions, memories I did have, however few, and a promise. I told them I wasn't asking for forgiveness. I wasn't asking for anything. I was just telling them the truth. Finally. Michael didn't respond for 4 months. When he finally called, his voice was different, softer, tired. "I got your letter, Dad. I meant every word. I know." Long pause. "I don't know if I can forgive you. I don't know if I ever will, but I'm willing to try for the kids. They should know their grandfather, even if it's late." Late, that word again, but this time it meant something different. This time it meant there was still a chance. I started flying to California every month, just showing up, no expectations, no demands, just presence. The first few visits were awkward, painful. The grandchildren didn't know what to do with me. I didn't know what to do with them. But I kept showing up. I learned that Emma volunteers at an animal shelter on weekends. I started volunteering with her. We don't talk much, but we're there, together. I learned that James has a basketball game every Tuesday. I sit in the stands now, front row, every game. He doesn't acknowledge me much, but last month he waved after making a free throw. A wave. You have no idea what that meant to me. Sophie let me buy her a book last Christmas. She sent me a thank you card, handwritten. I cried when I read it. And Thomas, little Thomas, still doesn't know me, but he's starting to. We're starting from zero, but at least we're starting. I'm 82 now. I've been trying for 6 years. 6 years out of 82. It's not enough. It will never be enough, but it's something. It's more than nothing. It's more than I had before. I'm happier now at 82 with less time ahead than I was at 65 when I thought I had everything, because now I understand what everything actually means. So let me ask you something, and I want you to really think about this. If you died tomorrow, would your children know you? Not your job title, not your income, not your accomplishments. Would they know the sound of your laugh? Would they know your favorite movie? Would they know what you dreamed about when you were young? Would they cry at your funeral because they lost someone they loved? Or would they stand there, numb, mourning a stranger who shared their last name? I know what you're thinking, but I have to work. I have bills. I have responsibilities. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to be irresponsible. I'm telling you to show up. I'm telling you that the meeting can wait. The email can wait. The deadline can wait. Your child's first steps cannot wait. Their first words cannot wait. Their questions about life cannot wait. You think you have time. You don't. Children grow up fast, faster than you think. One day they're asking you to play with them. The next day they've stopped asking. They've learned not to expect you. And once they stop expecting you, it's almost impossible to get back in. I know what else you're thinking. My kids will understand. They'll know I'm doing this for them. No, they won't. They'll understand that you weren't there. They'll understand that work was more important. They'll understand that every time they needed you, something else came first. That's what they'll understand. That's what my children understood. Don't wait until you're 82 and alone to learn this lesson. Don't wait until your grandchildren ask, "Who's that old man?" Don't wait until your daughter elopes because she doesn't think you'd show up anyway. Learn it now, today, this moment. Your younger self is depending on you, and your older self is begging you. If I could go back and talk to my 24-year-old self, here's what I would say. Stop. Stop believing that later exists. It doesn't. There is only now. Stop telling yourself that your family understands. They don't. They feel your absence every single day. Stop prioritizing meetings over moments. Meetings are forgotten. Moments are forever. Stop working through dinner. Stop checking emails during bedtime. Stop taking calls during recitals. Stop thinking your presence doesn't matter. It's the only thing that matters. Start leaving work on time. Today, not next week. Today. Start putting your phone away when your children are talking to you. Look them in the eyes. Listen. Really listen. Start saying no to overtime. Start saying yes to tea parties and catch in the backyard and helping with homework. Start showing up, not perfectly, not with all the answers, just there, present, available. Start telling them you love them every day out loud so they never have to wonder if your child has a game this week. Go. I don't care what meeting you have. I don't care what deadline is looming. Go. Sit in those bleachers. Cheer. Let them see you there. If your child wants to show you something, stop what you're doing and look. It takes 30 seconds to make them feel like they matter. 30 seconds you'll never regret. If your spouse asks for a date night, say yes, not maybe next week, not when things calm down. Yes, now, tonight. Call your parents today, right now. If you're lucky enough to still have them, call them, not because it's a holiday, not because you need something, just because they're your parents and they won't be here forever. Make the time. Time is not something you find, it's something you make. You will never find time for what matters. You have to choose it deliberately every single day. Your career will not visit you in the nursing home. Your job title will not hold your hand when you're dying. Your bank account will not mourn you when you're gone, but your family will, if you let them, if you give them a reason to. I'm 82 years old. I've been trying to rebuild my family for 6 years out of 82. And you know what? These last 6 years have been the most meaningful of my life, not the most successful, not the most impressive, not the most profitable, meaningful. I have lunch with Michael once a month now. We're not best friends. We probably never will be. Too much time has passed. Too much damage has been done. But we're talking, actually talking, about life, about his kids, about things that matter. Last month, he told me he was proud of me. Not for my career, not for my money, for trying, for finally showing up. I cried in the restaurant. An 82-year-old man crying in a booth at a diner because his son said he was proud of him. That's what matters. That moment, that connection, that's what I missed for 58 years. I have photos on my refrigerator now, not business awards, not magazine covers, photos of my grandchildren, Emma at her shelter, James on the court, Sophie with her books, Thomas smiling. I look at those photos every morning, and every morning I think the same thing. I wish I'd started sooner. I wish I'd been there from the beginning. I wish I could go back to 1968 and tell that young, ambitious 24-year-old what success really means. But I can't. All I can do is tell you, right now, before it's too late, you have a choice. Right now, today, this very moment, you can keep doing what you're doing, keep working late, keep missing moments, keep telling yourself you'll make time later. Or you can wake up. You can realize that time is not on your side, that your children are growing up right now, today, while you're reading this, that every moment you miss is a moment you cannot get back. I built a fortune and lost a family. I earned respect from strangers and became a stranger to my own blood. I achieved everything society told me to achieve and ended up alone in an empty house, waiting for a phone that never rings. Don't be me. Please, don't wake up at 82 and realize you traded everything that mattered for things that didn't. Don't wait until your grandchildren ask, "Who's that old man?" Don't wait until your daughter elopes without telling you. Don't wait until your son tells you his stepfather earned the right to walk his daughter down the aisle. Start now, today, this moment. The meeting can wait. Your child cannot. The email can wait. Your spouse cannot. The deadline can wait. Your parents cannot. Show up. Be present. Make the time. Because someday you'll run out of time. And the only question that will matter is this: did the people you love know that you love them? I pray your answer is different than mine. If this story meant something to you, I hope you'll share it. Not for me. I'm 82. My time is almost done. But for the young father working late tonight, missing bedtime again. For the mother who thinks her children will understand her absence. For everyone who's telling themselves they'll make time later. Share this. Let them hear what I wish someone had told me. Subscribe if you want to hear more. I don't know how many more of these I have in me, but while I'm still here, I'll keep telling the truth. Leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to do differently. Tell me about the moment you decided to show up. I read every single one. Your stories give me hope. And to those of you who still have time, who still have a chance to be present for the people who matter, go right now. Put Put down your phone and go hug your children. Go kiss your spouse. Go call your parents. The clock is ticking for all of us. Don't wait until it stops. Thank you for your time. It's the most precious thing you have. Don't waste it like I did.